Houston, our instruments are showing that we have a incoming message from deep space. Repeat, Houston, we have an incoming message from deep space. Houston, we will begin playing message now. Houston, we're going to try and translate that up here. Hold for translation. Translation complete. We'll begin playing message now.
Hey, it's me, Melissa.
What do you do when the aliens invade? Take a shot of MK Ultra and watch Melissa Jade. Put on your tinfoil hat and tune right in. We got their crime spree, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects, a mind expanding, fake moon landing, what are dolphins understanding? It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Aliens is on the sun or an area 51. Time travels, unravels, haunted castles, cops are baffled, potential experimental thoughts that make you transcendental. It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Crime sprees, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects, a mind expanding, fake moon landing, what are dolphins understanding? It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa.
Hey guys. Hey Sleepy Gootsy. Hi Carol freaking Claus, Foxfire, Musicity Mom, Bebe, my fellow Jade. I love my fellow Jaded. Hi Deb, legendary, my deepest apologies, 87, hippie chick, and D, Mike Jetson, Kelly King, Grant, Corey, Katie, Nadie, my snot rocket. Hey Brandy, so good to see you. We have KTM, Harlot. Let me scroll all the way up. Nace, Meatfoot, Andy, Libra Moon, ATS News. I think I got pretty much everyone. I don't want to scroll all the way up. But let me go back down. Hi Niners girl, not enough. British Chippy, Deb, Johnny Kramer. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let me just flip over to this side so I have access. Ew. Membership, and thank you so much, Nasa. Nasa gifted 5 memberships. Congratulations to anybody who received it. Libra, Katie, Baby, KTM, and Grant. Thank you so much. So we are going to be discussing the Long Island serial killer, Gilgo Beach. You guys know I drove out there over the weekend. Or was that Monday? No, that was Monday. I drove out there I was just about to say it again. I drove out there on Monday. And we streamed outside of Rex Hummerman's house, and then we took the drive to Gilgo Beach, and I showed you guys where the victims were found. Well, we have more information, and we also have the bail application, and there's a lot of information in this bail application, and I wanted to go over it with you guys because because it's really, really interesting. So, thanks, Jaded. There's not many times where I have like the opportunity to go boots on the ground. Well, this was the only time I kind of had the opportunity to go boots on the ground. And so it was awesome. It was a, you know, it didn't go as smoothly as I wanted. Like my my phone flipped off like the dashboard, things like that, but it was awesome. And I want to give you guys the heads up. So on Sunday, ATS News is also going to be going live to cover the Gilgo Beach murders, the Long Island serial killer. And so I'm dropping her link, and I'll drop it again at the end of the live for anybody who comes in throughout. But make sure to go over there. Keep your eye out. If you are interested in everything regarding this case, head over there. All right. So yeah, very close, Jaded. Very, very close. I'm excited to talk about this. I've been working. Oh, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. So I want to go over this bail application. Shout out to Shakto, because he mailed me a physical copy, and I love physical copies versus online. Foxfire. Hi, Eddie. How are you? Hi, Sherry. All right. So the first thing I wanted to go over, though, Danielle, thank you so much. That's really, really kind of you. Wow. Thank you so much, Danielle. Congratulations. Kelly, Bree, Stacy, Slothfan, and Kathy. Thank you. Neatfoot, I sent you the link. You're more than welcome to join if you'd like. So first thing before I get into the bail application, because there's a lot of information in here, I can't wait to go through it. Carol freaking Claus, so good to see you. I wanted to show you. So Rex's wife filed for divorce, and let me see. And they're saying he could be connected to a bunch of other killings. Hi, Kels. Hi, hippie chick. Sounds good, Meatfoot. So they're saying they believe that there are a lot of other victims, and now they're thinking that it's a possibility that he is tied to 2006 Atlantic City murders. Now, if you're not sure geographically, that it's a ton, Sleuthy. I'm so excited to go through it. Hi, Creative Art News Media. So Atlantic City is very close to Long Island, you know, like it's, and when I say very close, it takes forever to get anywhere in New York. So 2.5 hours is close. So I always believed, thank you so much, Eddie. I always believed that there were other victims, because he was still contacting sex workers through burner phones up until a week prior to them arresting him. That is why there was so much urgency. That is why when they held the grand jury, there was a lot of, we got to do this now, because I think that he never stopped the killings. I think he took a break, but I think he just switched up what he was doing. I think he stopped as far as Gilgo. There was too much heat. He was no longer dumping the bodies that close to home. I think that he was going elsewhere, and he switched it up. So yeah, on Tinder too. So it says, before I get into the bail application, so again, Rex's wife has filed for divorce. That's interesting. And it says, suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Humerman could be connected to 2006 Atlantic City murders. Carol freaking Claus, thank you so much coming in with the $10 super chat. That's very much appreciated. Legendary. Hey, Wolfie. Yeah, he is. He is Creative Arts News Media, right? Me too, Danielle. I really wonder how many victims. And I really hope these victims' families, because imagine even the Gilgo Beach victims, for going that long without any answers, to finally having some type of closure. Yes, it's the beginning stage of that closure, but I'm just so happy. And by the way, they suspect at least one of the Gilgo Beach victims, and there's 4, Gilgo Beach 4, may have been murdered in his Long Island home. So right over there, when I was streaming and I said, you guys, right here, this is the exact trip he may have took. I believe that he was killing the victims inside the residence and then dumping their bodies. I heard about that, Katie. I think it was Nace who was telling me about that. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, though. Yeah. Hi, Maria. Okay. So let me read this real quick. And then, hi, T. Adams. I love your hat. It is creepy. It is creepy. So it says, the man, hey, how do I exit this? Why is he? Okay. So hey, every time why does that little screen pop up? All right. So the man suspected in a slate of killings across Long Island's Gilgo Beach is also under investigation for a possible connection to the unsolved murders of 4 women who were found near Atlantic City in 2006. So this is actually prior to the Gilgo Beach. Gilgo Beach were like 2009 to 2011. And so this is prior. So were the Gilgo Beach his first victims? Maybe not. Oh, MK Ultra. Not MK Ultra. I'm sorry. MK, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Congratulations to the recipients. That's really, really kind. Thank you, guys. Hi, Mary Beth. Hi, Lucia. Amber. So good. Sweet Misery. Hi, guys. I just like, as soon as I said MK Ultra always just rolls right off my tongue. But I had to stop myself. Huh, Amber? Thank you, MK. Thank you, everybody who gifted memberships. That's so awesome. I love seeing it green. So it says, Rex Heuermann of Massapequa Park is charged with the murders of 3 of the Gilgo Beach 4, Melissa, Megan, and Amber. Heuermann is also considered the prime suspect in the death of the 4th woman, Maureen Barnes, the Suffolk County District Attorney said in a news conference. The Gilgo Beach 4 were found in 2010, all close to each other. At least 10 victims were found in that area that year and believed to be the victims of a serial killer, including a child and a man. He was in his 40s for Gilgo Beach, right? He really could have been doing, yeah. So with Heuermann now in custody, police are examining possible connections to other unsolved killings. Investigators are looking into Heuermann in connection with cases around the nation, including Atlantic City, Las Vegas, and South Carolina. So in 2006, in a drainage ditch behind the now demolished Golden Key Motel, the bodies of 4 women, Molly Ditz, Kim Rifo, Barbara Bredor, and Tracy Roberts, were found close together in a grassy area along the Black Horse Pike. And here's a photo, guys. And the bodies are blurred, so you can't see it. Hey, OG Fish, congratulations. Hi, Sherry. So it says a former Egg Harbor Township police captain who worked on the case told CBS the 4 women were found close to each other in the ditch in the same manner. All facing east, all with no shoes on, no purse, no cell phone, no personal belongings. He suspected one killer was involved with all of those 4 victims. The women were believed to be sex workers. So again, we see that MO, right? We see that consistency. If you didn't know, Rex Heuermann his victims were sex workers. So we know that he would contact them on Craigslist. Once again, it's targeting these victims who, and unfortunately, people don't take it as seriously. It doesn't get as much mainstream news when you have victims who may be homeless or sex workers or addicts, right? These people look for someone that will not necessarily be missed. And when I say that, I don't mean emotionally versus if you take a teacher, right? If they don't show up the next day, it's going to be noticed versus if you take someone who maybe have, working in the sex industry of something along those lines, may not be as noticeable when they go missing. So we see a lot of the consistency. So these are the 4 women who were found in Atlantic City. And if you look at my thumbnail and the victims of the Gilgo Beach, they all kind of have that similar look to them. Like it's not drastic differences. And it says tabloids started referring to the case as the work of an eastbound strangler as the case went cold. Local authorities have not charged Heuermann in these cases. In a statement, Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office could not confirm connections between Heuermann and the 2006 case. So it's interesting. All right, so one more thing I want to show you guys, and then we'll go over the bail application. So this is a New York Post, and it says the Gilgo Beach suspect may have killed victims at his Long Island home while wife and kids were away, says investigators. Hey, Booberry. So it says, okay. Accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex may have murdered victims at his family's home while his wife and kids were out of town because it gave him all the time in the world and access to items such as tape and burlap bags, according to a law enforcement source. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Okay. So it says the woman who Huerman allegedly killed disappeared during periods when his wife, Asa, and 2 adult children were traveling, possibly prompting him to lure the victims to their modest, ramshackled house in Massapequa Park, Long Island, instead of a hotel. Slaying the woman at his house would give Huerman a controlled setting and make it easier to remove the bodies in bags without being seen. It was a theory from day one, but some investigators that he committed some of the crimes in his home. Investigators who think he committed it in his house say it would make sense because no one was home. He had all the time in the world, and it would be easier to remove the bodies in a burlap bag from his home than a hotel where someone might be seen. And again, so this is Rex, you ugly piece of snazzle. Ugh. One problem proving this is that he choked the victims to death. Again, there's that consistency with Atlantic City 4 that he's being investigated in. So he choked the victims to death, so there was no blood. If he shot or stabbed them, they would probably find some of the victims. They have not found any DNA from the victims in the home as of this time. There is no proof at this time that the suspect killed them there. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney said in a statement Friday, at the time of the arrest, we indicated the causes of death were homicidal violence. The locations of the murders were never specified. At this juncture, if any law enforcement officials are saying anything contrary to that, they do not know what they are talking about. Investigators who did find tape and burlap bags at the crime scene are still combing his house for any evidence that may be linked to the victims. Huerman, a 59-year-old architect with Manhattan office, was charged last week in the slayings of Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Lynn Costello, 3 of the Gilgo 4 victims whose remains were found in Gilgo Beach in 2010. He is the main suspect in the 4th victim, Maureen Brainard Barnes, who disappeared in 2007, authorities have said. So this is an aerial shot of Rex's home. Again, when I went there, I was standing over like in this area, right on the corner of the street. And you could see that they still have those trucks there. It's cordoned off. And compared to the other homes, it's in shambles. But we can see, got a little garden, a little greenhouse there. Just for an architect, you know, it's not. And I showed you how nice the area is. Okay, T. Adams, enjoy dinner. Bon appetit. It's a really nice area. They're really nice homes. But when you look at their house, it is definitely the odd one standing out on the street. So it says multiple sources told News 12 that investigators believe at least one of the Gilgo Beach murders took place at the home. It's pretty common. A lot of people have killed their victims in their homes because their homes provide them with familiar security. It's their comfort zone, said retired NYPD detective and professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, Michael Alcazar, to the outlet. So these were who the victims were. But okay, evidence could abound at the dwelling. It could be something he performed ritualistically, like what he did with his victims. It could be trophies. It could be his tools, his arsenal of weapons. Maybe he recorded it. Family neighbor Betty Vrana added to the station, you wonder, how could that happen? A lot of people are wondering, was his wife away a lot? Because again, every time his wife was away, that's when they suspect he did these killings. So Bartholomew, a 24-year-old sex worker living in the Bronx, last seen July 12th, 2009. While Waterman, a 22-year-old sex worker and mom from Maine, vanished June 6, 2010. Costello, a 27-year-old escort who struggled with heroin addiction, was last seen leaving her home September 2nd, 2010. Cell phone records and surveillance camera footage show the woman traveled to the area of Heuermann's around the times they disappeared. Ellerup was blindsided by her husband's allegedly sadistic double life, according to police, and filed for divorce Wednesday, less than a week after his arrest in New York City. Heuermann's was alone in the tri-state area during the time of the killings. So it's really interesting. But are you guys ready to see the buckload they have on him in this bail application? I'm going to pull up, what's that? I'm going to pull up the virtual copy as you guys read along with me, but there's a lot. Okay, hold on. Hi, Allie. Well, happy belated birthday, Jaded. I didn't realize it was your birthday back in June. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it on the screen while I read it. Okay. All right. It's crazy to think how they got the DNA from a pizza crust to link. Yeah, well, it's crazy that how much technology can advance, right? And how something that they couldn't solve back then, now they could solve. And they were able to do it with mitochondrial DNA. Hey, Meatfoot.
Hey.
What's cooking? Good looking?
Not much. I'm ready to get into these documents.
I know. All right. So let me. I'm going to be looking at the physical copy I have, but I'll make sure that the screen matches which part I'm reading. So it says, so this is County Court of Suffolk County, State of New York, the people of the state of New York against Rex A. Heuermann, the defendant. So Rex stands before this court charged by the grand jury, because there was a grand jury indictment. Hey, Vix, I know. With murder in the first degree, a Class A1 violent felony for the death of Melissa Bartholomew on or about July 10th, 2009. Murder in the first degree in violation of New York State Penal Law, Section 125.27, a Class A1 violent felony for the death of Megan Waterman on or about June 6, 2010. Murder in the first degree in violation of New York State Penal Law, Section, a Class A1 felony, violent felony for the death of Amber Costello on or about September 2nd, 2010. Murder in the second degree in violation of XYZ, a Class A1 violent felony for the death of Melissa Bartholomew on or about July 10th. Murder in the second degree in violation of New York State Penal Law, Section XYZ, for the death of Megan Waterman on or about June 6, 2010. and murder in the second degree in violation of New York State Penal Law XYZ, a Class A1 felony, violent felony, for the death of Amber Costello on or about September 2nd. So, let me pull it down because there's
Melissa,
a lot of information here. Go ahead.
Was there anything released previously about the manner, like cause of death or manner of death on these victims?
Strangulation.
Just strangulation. There wasn't anything else.
I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look, but I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because I don't really know much about this case at all.
Well, you're about to find out. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So it says, as described below, based on the serious, heinous nature of these serial murders, the planning and forethought that went into these crimes, the strength of the people's case, the length of the incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extended period of time that this defendant was able to avoid apprehension, his recent searches for sadistic materials, and just wait till we get to that, guys, because his searches are in here. Child P, images of the victims and their relatives, counter surveillance conducted online as to the criminal investigation, his use of fictitious names, burner email and cell phone accounts, and his access to history of possessing firearms. The only means to ensure defendant Rex A. Heuermann's return to court is to remand him without bail. Oh, and happy birthday. I don't know. Happy birthday, Amber. So, guys, that is a lot. So it says, discovery of the victims. On December 11, 2010, police officer John Malia was conducting a training exercise with his canine partner, Blue, along Ocean Parkway in Gilgo Beach, and that's where I took. If you guys remember, I was driving on Ocean Parkway. If you guys remember that huge pencil, and remember I did that circle, and I was like, it's a roundabout, and then I had to get off, that was Ocean Parkway. So it says, during the course of the training exercise, Blue located a set of human remains. The remains were later identified to be those of Melissa Barthelemy. 2 days later, on December 13th, 2010, the SCPD continued to search in proximity to where the remains of Melissa Barthelemy were recovered. Thank God they were doing this training exercise, because if you remember how isolated that area was, and there was nowhere to park or anything, I told you the likelihood that you'd really find a body over there was low. It says, on the dates, member of the SCPD found 3 additional set of human remains within 1/4 mile of the first discovery. These 3 additional set of remains were identified as those of Maureen Branard Barnes, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. The cause of death of all 4 women was determined to be homicidal violence. So again, you could see the first victim, where they were found, the second victim, third victim, and fourth. So they were all really close to one another, okay? Oh, you're welcome, Angela. The investigations into these deaths were linked as, in addition to other factors, the victims each appeared to have been placed in close proximity to one another, 22 to 33 feet from the edge of the parkway. All were petite females, approximately 22 to 27 years old, believed to be working as sex workers. All had missing clothing and personal possessions. All had been killed by homicide. All had contact shortly before their disappearances with a person using a burner phone, i.e., cell phones without an associated verified identity, and the cell phones of 2 of the 4 victims. Hey, Shakdo, and thanks again, Shakdo, for sending this. All right. So then it says, although the defendant is not yet charged with any crimes as to the disappearance and murder of Miss Branard Barnes, as set forth below, Rex is the prime suspect in her death and the investigation, which is continuing and is expected to be resolved soon. Moreover, there is substantial evidence of defendant Heuermann's involvement in the disappearance and death of Miss Branard Barnes, which evidence closely fits the MO of the defendant in relation to the deaths of the other 3 women, and which supports the current charges. As such, this bail application contains descriptions of that evidence which demonstrates the strength of the people's case as currently charged. Prepare yourself, guys. Trigger warning, honestly, because there's going to be sensitive stuff in here. Okay. So it says, okay, so 2 of the 4 victims' cell phones were used by the killer after their deaths. He used their cell phones, guys. In addition, each of the 4 victims were found similarly positioned, bound in a similar fashion by either belts or tape, with 3 of the victims found wrapped in a burlap type material. Let me get my charger. Oh, I gotta plug it all in. Okay. Plug it in, plug it in. All right.
Wasn't he calling the victim's family and taunting?
Yes. Oh, just you wait. Yes, he was.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, he was. And thank you, Amber. And yes, trigger warning. I'll put that there. Okay. Yeah, we'll see the searches and we'll see exactly what he was doing, guys. It's bad. So it says recent investigation. In January 2022, the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office assigned an experienced team of investigators, analysts, and prosecutors to work jointly with law enforcement partners from the Suffolk County Police Department. So the Sheriff's Office and FBI, a comprehensive review of every item of evidence and information in this investigation was undertaken by the team. On March 14, 2022, approximately 2 months into the renewed joint investigation, this comprehensive review led to the discovery of a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche that was registered to defendant Rex A. Heuermann at the time of these murders. As described below, this was significant because a witness to the disappearance of Amber Costello identified a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche as the vehicle believed to have been driven by her killer. They got really lucky with this, you guys. Really lucky. Oh my God, not yucky. This discovery led to a comprehensive investigation of defendant Heuermann, which consisted of over 300 subpoenas, search warrants, and other legal processes to obtain evidence. As discussed more fully below, among the items uncovered were cell phone billing records for defendant Heuermann corresponding to cell site locations for 1. The burner cell phones used to arrange meetings with 3 of the 4 victims. 2. The taunting calls made to a relative of Miss Barthélemy. How sick is that? 3. A call made by a detective to Miss Barthélemy's cell phone while looking into her disappearance. He called a detective about her own. Oh my God. He called a detective regarding the disappearance of the person he murdered. And 4, calls checking voicemail on Miss Brannard Barnes' cell phone after her disappearance. So he called to check her own cell phone. Oh my God. In addition, Heuermann lived in Massapequa Park, where the victims were believed to have disappeared from, and he worked in Midtown Manhattan, in the vicinity where the taunting calls were made to the sister of Miss Barthélemy. So he was doing that while at work. How sick. You never know who you're dealing with. As set forth more fully below, defendant Rex A. Heuermann is believed to be the person who used the burner cell phones to communicate with each of the 4 victims prior to the disappearance, and who used Miss Brannard Barnes' cell phone and Miss Barthélemy's cell phone after their deaths. Both defendant Heuermann and these burner cell phones had significant connections to both Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park. So Maureen Brannard Barnes was last seen on July 9th in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 6th, Miss Brannard Barnes' cell phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. Between July 6th and July 9th, there were 16 interactions between this burner phone and Brannard Barnes' cell phone. On July 9th, the last cell site location for Barnes' cell phone was at approximately 11:56 p.m. in Midtown Manhattan near the 59th Street Bridge. He was an architect, Lucia. On July 12th, 3 days after her disappearance, 2 outbound calls were made from Barnes' cell phone checking her voicemail from a cell site location near the Long Island Expressway in Icelandia. So he took her phone after killing her and was checking her voicemails to keep up with the day. I'm sure he got a sick thrill off of hearing people plead for, where are you? Why haven't you answered? That type of stuff.
That's just sick.
Yep. So the disappearance and murder of Melissa. Melissa was last seen on July 10th, 2009 in New York City. At the time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 3rd, Melissa was contacted by a burner cell phone. Thereafter, Melissa's cell phone was contacted by this burner cell phone on July 6th, July 9th, and July 10th, which was the last day she was seen alive. On July 10th, cell site records indicate the burner cell phone traveled from Massapequa Park to Midtown Manhattan. Later that evening, Melissa's cell phone traveled from Midtown Manhattan to Massapequa, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa on July 11th, 2009 at approximately 1:43 a.m. I absolutely believe he at least killed one of these victims at his home. I really do. On July 11th, Melissa's cell phone was used to make an outbound call, checking her voicemail from a cell site location in Freeport. Oh, wow, that's really close. On July 11th and July 12th, the Bartholomew phone made 2 more outbound calls, checking her voicemail from cell site locations in Babylon. And I think he was taking the Babylon track on the LIRR. On July 17th, July 23rd, August 5th, August 19th, and August 26th, Melissa's phone made taunting phone calls to Melissa's family members, some of which resulted in a conversation between the caller, who was male, and a relative of Melissa's, in which the male caller admitted killing and sexually assaulting Melissa. As described below, the cell site locations of Melissa's phone during these taunting calls were all in Midtown Manhattan. So he called her family and taunted them and told them on the phone, I killed and I sexually assaulted your child. Like, the balls, right? To not only get away with something like this for so long, but to have the balls to call the family members and to do something like that. He has some type of sexual gratification, some type of thrill, something that he gets off of, not just the kill, but after, to see the damage that you're calling and you're checking their voicemails and doing that. It's disgusting.
Does New York have the death penalty?
I don't know. Someone in chat want to let me know? I don't know. Hey, Willie.
Because someone like this deserves it, is just what I'm saying.
Most definitely. And it is Johnny Kramer. It is. So, the disappearance and murder of Megan Waterman. Megan was last seen alive at the Holiday Inn in Hop Hog, New York on June 6 at approximately 1:30 a.m., 2010. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On June 5th, Megan's cell phone was contacted by another burner cell phone, which had just been activated that day. Thereafter, the Waterman phone communicated with this burner cell phone on June 6, 2010 at approximately 1:31 a.m., which is around the time Megan was captured on video surveillance exiting the Holiday Inn from Hop Hog for the last time. Following that communication, the burner cell phone had no further phone activity. However, cell site records show that the Waterman phone traveled to Massapequa Park, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa Park at approximately 3:11 a.m. in the vicinity of the residence of defendant Hewerman. Oh, wow. So Chicky says, and welcome, Chicky. First, I heard he called the parents. I've heard from several sources he called the 15-year-old sister several times, even explained the gory details on what he did to her. That is horrendous. Okay, no death penalty in New York. I didn't think there was, but I don't want to say because I wasn't sure. But thank you. Thank you, Bella. Okay.
The emotional abuse that he put on those families.
To not only, for them to lose their loved ones in the manner that they did, not have the answers, and then to have them call and taunt them like that, I could not ever imagine. I couldn't ever imagine.
I saw some architect interview that he was doing that was filmed, and he seems kind of like a normal guy. Like, he wasn't super creepy or anything like that, and that's what scares me even more.
You never know. It is terrifying. You never know. Hi, Candace. Okay. So the disappearance and murder of Amber Costello. Amber Costello was last seen alive on September 2nd, 2010, leaving her residence at 1112 America Avenue in West Babylon during the late evening hours. Hannah Nabino. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. Hi, V Slims. Good to see you also. On September 1st, 2010, the day prior to the disappearance of Amber Costello, Amber's cell phone was contacted by a burner cell phone once again. On September 1st, this burner cell phone had communications with the Costello phone at approximately 11:33 p.m. and 11:34 p.m. During those communications, the burner cell phone connected to cell site towers in West Amityville and Massapequa Park. Thereafter, the burner cell phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello and had contact with the Costello phone at approximately 12:05 a.m. on September 2nd. According to witnesses, around the time of these communications between the burner cell phone and the Costello phone on September 1st to 2nd, a prostitution client showed up at Miss Costello's residence located in West Babylon. After the client entered the home, a ruse was executed on the client, whereby a person pretended to be outraged boyfriend of Amber, and the client left from the residence, while Amber retained the money the client had brought to pay for her services. Hi, Cutie Pie 509. Based upon interviews, that client was described as a large white male, approximately 6'4" to 6'6" in height, in his mid-40s, with dark, bushy hair. Oh my God, that just gave me Idaho vibes, like dark, bushy eyebrows.
Yeah.
Dark, bushy hair and big oval-style 1970s type eyeglasses. A witness described him to police as appearing like an ogre. That was actually accurate if you see what he looks like. Furthermore, a witness noticed a first-generation Chevy Avalanche parked in the driveway of the residence. Thank God they saw that. According to the witness, following the ruse, this client said he was just her friend. Tell her I'll give her a call, and walked out the front door. Thereafter, approximately 1:18 a.m. on September 2nd, after the ruse had been perpetrated, the burner cell phone sent a text message to the Costello phone, which stated, "That was not nice to do. I credit for next time." Wait, what? That was not nice. That was not nice. So do I get credit for next time? Phone records show that the burner phone was located in Massapequa Park within 2 minutes of his text message being sent. According to a witness, later the next day on September 2nd, Ms. Costello was again contacted by the same client that was in the house the night before with the avalanche. Further, Amber told us that he wanted to see her again, but he didn't want to come back to the house because of her boyfriend. Thereafter, on September 2nd, 2010, at approximately 9:32 p.m., The same burner cell phone from the previous evening again communicated with the Costello phone. During this communication, the burner cell phone used a cell site location in Midtown Manhattan. Following this communication, and based upon the cell site records, the burner cell phone traveled to Massapequa Park and had contacts with the Costello phone at approximately 10:39 p.m. and 11:05 p.m. Carol Claus. Cell site records for the burner phone indicate that at approximately 11:17 p.m., the phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello. Subsequently, Amber Costello left her own cell phone behind, walked out the front door of the residence, and was seen alive for the last time. Shortly after Miss Costello left the house, a witness observed a dark-colored truck pass the house, specifically coming from the direction Amber had walked towards. And records established that Rex's wife was out of New York for the disappearances of Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello. So his wife was gone at the time that all of this happened, okay? Significantly, travel records show that on July 8th, defendant Heuermann's wife departed the United States for Iceland. On August 18th, defendant Heuermann's wife returned to the United States. Consequently, defendant Heuermann's wife was out of the country during the time of Melissa Bartholomew's disappearance. Based upon cellular telephone billing records on June 4th, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to by defendant Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to Maryland. On June 8th, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to the defendant Heuermann's wife returned to New York from Maryland. Consequently, based upon cellular telephone records, the cellular telephone subscribed to Rex's wife was out of New York State during the time of Megan Waterman's disappearance. For every single one of them, guys, she was gone. Based upon cellular telephone billing records on August 28th, 2010, the cell phone subscribed to Rex's wife traveled from New York to New Jersey. On September 5th, the cellular telephone subscribed to by his wife returned to New York from New Jersey. Consequently, this cellular telephone subscribed to Rex's wife was out of New York State during the time of Amber Costello's disappearance. Don't you find it odd for a wife to be traveling? Maybe I'm a little bit old school, but don't you find it odd for a wife to be traveling so much without her husband? It makes you curious, was he sending her away? Because every single time she left, he would commit these murders. What do you think, Meatfoot?
It could be. I mean, do we know if they were personal or business, or that she was just away?
I'd love to know those details.
Yeah. It just makes me think what did he do after these? I know that they found these girls, but I don't see him just stopping.
Well, the girls that he's the prime suspect for in Atlantic City, who fit the same MO, sex workers, all within that young age, pretty girls, strangled, all in Atlantic City. And that was before the Gilgo Beach 4. So it says cellular billing records for the cell phone of Rex. During the times of the disappearance and the murders of the victims, defendant Rex owned an architectural business located in Midtown Manhattan, and this business was the named subscriber of Rex's cell phone, which was active during the times of the victim's disappearance and subscribed to Rex's home address in Massapequa Park. Although cell site records from that time period no longer existed, investigators obtained cellular billing records which showed general location information for Rex's cell phone. Hey, Jamie. A review of these records, as well as Heuermann's American Express records, showed numerous instances where Rex was located in the same general locations as the burner cell phones used to contact victims Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello. as well as the use of Branard Barnes and Barthelemy's cell phones when they were used to check voicemail and make taunting phone calls after the woman disappeared. Significantly, investigators could find no instance where Heuermann was in a separate location from these other cell phones when such a communication event occurred. For example, on July 10th, 2009, the last day Melissa was seen alive, both the burner phone and Rex's phone were in the area of Massapequa and traveled together towards New York City. Thereafter, both Melissa and Rex's phone traveled eastbound towards Massapequa. On July 4th, 2009, at approximately 7:15 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner phone used to contact Melissa prior to her disappearance had activity in Manhattan. On this same date, between approximately 6:58 p.m. and 7:22 p.m., billing records from Rex's cell phone also showed call locations in New York City. Following Melissa's disappearance on July 17, 2009, at approximately 12:40 p.m., a male caller used Melissa's phone to contact Melissa's family. Melissa's phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is approximately 2,372 feet or 0.45 miles from Rex's then office space, which at the time was located at 19 West 36th Street. On this same date, at approximately 1:45 p.m., billing records show from Heuermann's phone also show a call location in New York City. So this is a map which shows where Melissa's phone was in comparison to Rex. Wow, guys, this is interesting. So you have the victim's phone within the circle in green, and then you have Rex's office. You guys, it was less than a half a mile away. I love that. And I love that you also have a typo and it says Luke button. Make sure, please, guys, take a moment, leave your DNA on that Luke button, hit it, show me some love.
It's the coolest Luke button around.
That is the coolest Luke button around. Please, thank you, Boo Berry. That's so sweet. Don't correct it. I like Luke. Hit that Luke button. Okay. So it says on July 22nd, 2009, at approximately 1:39 p.m., cell site records indicate that the burner cell phone had activity in New York City, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 19 West 34th Street, which is approximately 872 feet or 0.16 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On that same date, at approximately 12:48 p.m., billing records from Rex's cell phone listed a call located in New York, New York. So, wow, man, what an idiot. Well, he got away with it for a long time, but damn.
Yeah. And technology is advancing so quickly now. I mean, they're literally making programs that can read data specifically for cases, like in the Murdoch case.
Yeah. Well, and I always reference that, with Idaho, you guys, like, I know that we have a lot of questions and we don't have the answers, but with the cast and everything, like the cast information, we're going to, and if we don't get all of the information, okay, but I anticipate a lot more than people expect to see. And look at even with Alex Cox, they were able to recover Lori's children, JJ and Tylee, specifically because of they were able to pinpoint it down to an exact couple of feet of one another. Yes, every day it gets better and better. So it says on July 23rd, 2009, at approximately 6:42 p.m., a male caller used Melissa's phone to contact her family. Melissa's phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 275 West 39th Street, which is approximately 872 feet or 0.16 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On July 23, 2009, between approximately 8:29 p.m. and 9:30 p.m., the burner cell phone had activity in New York City. Later on the same date, at approximately 11:05, billing records show Rex's cell phone listed as a call located in Jamaica, Queens. On August 5th, 2009, approximately between 6:50 and 7:11 p.m., a male caller used Melissa's phone to contact Melissa's family. During said time period, Melissa's phone utilized the following cellular phone towers in New York City, which are 2230 to 3280 feet from Heuermann's then office space. On this same date, during a similar time frame between approximately 6:46 and 7:05 p.m., Rex's cell phone listed billing locations in New York City. God, it's amazing that they could do this. Depends on how many towers in the area and how large of an area that provide coverage to. Definitely. Thank you, Sleuthy. I feel like we should do an entire live, guys, on cast and how they're able to triangulate. And there's another word I don't remember. It was similar to triangulate, but it's something used in the army or the military. And I forgot what it's called, but they're able to get such precise locations. So it says, on August 10th, 2009, based upon subpoenaed travel documents, Rex departed for Iceland and all phone activity for Melissa's phone stopped. On August 18th, 2009, Rex returned from Iceland, and then the phone activity for Melissa resumed the next day. Tell me you're guilty without telling me you're guilty.
Right?
Jeez Louise.
Oh, I hear that page turning.
I got my highlighter going too. So on August 19th, 2009, at approximately 7:23 p.m., a male caller used Melissa's phone to contact Melissa's family. Cell site records indicate that Melissa's phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 249 West 36th Street, which is approximately 2,831 feet or 0.53 miles from Rex's then office space. On this same date, before and after the call to Bartholomew's family, at approximately 7:16 p.m. and 7:28 p.m., billing records from Rex's phone list calls located in New York City. So again, another map and graph so you could understand where Melissa's cell phone was in relation to where Rex was. Where Rex's work was at that time. 10 towers from AT&T in Idaho. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to look into that. I'd love to do a little bit of a deeper dive with that because that's something I haven't deep dived in. So that would be interesting. Okay. So on August 26, 2009, between approximately 11:29 a.m. and 11:34 a.m., a male caller used Melissa's phone to contact Melissa's family. And you guys, listen to how many times he contacted her family. And to use her phone. He was calling from her phone and taunting them. I cannot imagine.
Having to relive that over and over,
right?
And not know when, and that could drive somebody insane.
And their child is missing. Someone is calling from her phone and they're taunting you and they're saying, I killed her, I assaulted her. Like, oh my God. So, according to cell site records, Melissa's phone was located in the New York City at this time, specifically attached to the cellular tower at 4 Penn Plaza, which is approximately 2,230 feet or 0.42 miles from Rex's then office space. On this same date, at approximately 11:38 a.m., billing records for Rex's cell phone list a call location in New York City. So right there again, Melissa's phone in comparison to where we know Rex to have been. I'll take a sip of my water. When I start to like read that much, like out loud, my tongue gets tired and I'll start messing up the words. So if I'm messing up the words or slurring them a little bit, just know that's what happens if like I read nonstop and talk that long. It doesn't happen really if I just talk naturally versus if I'm reading something out loud, your tongue just is like, haha, F you.
Melissa,
Yeah,
you're weird.
whatever.
I love you though.
Love you too. It is under review. It is. Okay. Whew. Your tongue doesn't dance? Come on. Additional burner phones and online account activity linked to Rex. All right, you guys ready? As described herein, over the course of the comprehensive investigation of Rex, investigators located a number of online accounts and burner cell phones linked to Rex, but which were held by him in fictitious names and used for illicit activities. American Express records obtained via subpoena revealed reoccurring Google Pay payments made by Rex to Tinder, an online dating and geosocial networking application used to find dates or hookups within a user's immediate vicinity. Records obtained from Tinder. I think I went too far. Yeah, okay. Records obtained from Tinder, which revealed that the Tinder profile was set up in the name Andy. Rex's middle name is Andrew, which links to a burner cell phone 347-885-1697, subscribed in the fictitious name of Andrew Roberts, using an email account springfieldman9@aol.com. The Springfield9@AOL.com account was established with AOL on January 15th, 2011, in the fictitious name John Springfield, with an Astoria, Queens, New York zip code, using another burner cell phone, 347-304-2671, which records show has no named subscriber. Okay. Records obtained from Verizon show that Rex's cell phone was used on December 11th, 2022. So again, just recently, December 11th, 2022, for a period of over 3 hours to access the fictitious Springfield 9 AOL account. Similarly, records obtained from T-Mobile show that burner cell phone 347-304-2771 was used on multiple dates, including November 8th, 2022, to access this account. Sleepy. Swipe left on Tinder. A review of call records for these two additional burner cell phones revealed that both cell phones were used extensively between 2021 and 2023 for prostitution-related contacts, either with sex workers or massage parlors. In addition, cell site warrants for these burner cell phones revealed that just like the burner cell phones defendant Rex used to contact the victims prior to their disappearance, these additional burner cell phones had frequent cell site activity in Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park. Specifically, the records revealed that both these burner cell phones consistently had activity on the cellular towers that provided coverage to Rex's residence in Massapequa Park and his business in New York City. Hey, Rich, how are you? Hey, Beckles Geckles. Legal process served on Google Seeking records or accounts associated with the device identifiers of these additional burner cell phones revealed a connection to yet another burner or junk email account, namely thok080672 at gmail.com, hereinafter the Thok email account. Google records further indicated that the Thok email account was subscribed in the fictitious name Thomas Hawk. A search warrant revealed that the Thok email account associated with burner cell phone 347-304-2671 was used to conduct thousands of searches related to sex workers, sadistic torture-related schmorschmography, and child schmorschmography, including, again, trigger warning, guys. 1. Mistress, Long Island. 2. Mature Escorts, Manhattan. 3. Girl begging for R porn. 4. Teen girl begging for R porn. 5. Pretty girl with bruised face porn. 6. Torture redhead porn. 7. 10-year-old school girl. 8. Hentai plump pussy lips cut off porn. 9. Skinny redhead tied up porn. 10. Short fat girl tied up porn. 11. Tied up and ard porn. 12. Asian twink tied up porn. 13. Tied slave force-fed cock. 14. Cum shot and crying porn. 15. Girl hog-tied torture porn. 16. 10-year-old blonde hair girl. 17. Chubby 10-year-old girl. 18. Black girl 10 years old. 19. Girl with face beat up. 20. Chubby 10-year-old girl crying. 21. 13-year-old schoolgirl. 22. Age 12 child girl with blonde hair and blue eyes. 23. Blonde hair girl, young, depressed. 24. Teen girl, oiled bodies. 25. Preteen girl with makeup. 26. Nude slave girls. That was like really hard to read, actually. Like, that was really fucking gross.
That is horrible.
27. Old janitors, gangbang little schoolgirl. 28. Crying girl, painful anal. 29. Schoolgirl. 30. Crying teen porn. That is disgusting. That is gross. Again, trigger warning. I told you guys this is very sick, but these are the documents. I'm going to read them. And this is someone who is severely twisted. And I can't imagine how many victims are out there. Seriously. And just to hear the child stuff.
Yeah.
Life is a life, but when it comes to the kids, like, it is, if he was Googling this type of stuff, it's
there is no rehabilitation for this. There is no excuse. There's lock him up and throw away the key, which I think is too nice, but
it was hard to read that, honestly.
Yeah.
I hadn't read that yet, so I was experiencing that in real time with you guys, and that was extremely disturbing. It was extremely disturbing. So again, like, trigger warning. I know I have it scrolling at the bottom, but if you can't handle this type of conversation, please click off, protect your mental health. I'm going to continue to go through it, but just be aware, it's dark. It's very, very dark. Yeah. And he has 2 children, and these type of predators are everywhere.
Oh.
Yep. Pure evil walks among us, and you would never know. They look no different from you or me. And people think, and they get this idea in their head that monsters have to be, like the Charles Manson looking type, or the Richard Ramirez, the dark side, that's not true. They are the Chris Watts, like they are the people that look no different from you or I. And you would never know by looking. They are the doctors, they are the judges, they are the lawyers, they are the people that you sit at a table with, and you would never know.
I don't even know what to say.
I know, I need like a minute to process that after reading that. It was hard. That was very hard. Okay. The Thawk email account was also used to conduct in excess of 200 searches between March 2022 and June 2023. This is so recent, guys. So recent. Related to active and known serial killers. The specific disappearances and murders of Maureen, Melissa, Megan, and Amber, and the investigation into their murders. These searches or articles accessed include, but are not limited to: 1. Why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer? This fucker is looking up his own stuff. You know what this reminds me of? Luca Magnotta. If you know Luca Magnotta and you watch the Don't Fuck with Cats on Netflix, very, very good. But when he was caught, he was in like a internet shop looking up articles on himself. You could watch the video. You could watch the video the moment he got caught.
The worker was the one that noticed him, and he was looking up the thing. Oh my gosh.
It definitely gives me Luca Magnotta vibes.
That one was that was hard to watch too.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, deep breaths.
Yeah, sorry. No, that was just a lot. That those searches, the children's searches, it bothered me, so I apologize. It's I wasn't expecting all of that. And that's really bad. That's really fucking bad. People you trust to help you, people you love, people who hold your life in their hands, all kinds, and they could be charming and good looking and personable. The devil was first an angel. Amen. Hey, Shay. What is also sickening is that people make this kind of pee and make it available to these evil sickles. Yeah. But why those searches disturb me so much, as if the searches alone aren't disturbing, but the idea that there are he clearly has victims in mind of what I'm just terrified that there are children out there that are his victims, and it's just really fucking sick. Like, these people are really fucking sick. And like, as a mother, like as a parent, like this is what terrifies the living fucking shit out of me day to day. All right, sorry. I'm gonna try to do my best, separate emotion from this, and just read it as it is. So sorry, guys.
You got this. It's just a really tough thing.
I did not read that. Like, I didn't get to read the whole thing yet. So I was like, all right, we'll read it in real time together. And I wasn't anticipating that. That was heavy. That was some heavy stuff. But all right. So 1, why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer? 2, why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught? 3, Long Island killer. 4, and again, these were up until June 2023. You guys, last month, like, if you need a reminder, last month, some of these searches were being made.
And you can't tell me he stopped.
He did not stop
hurting people, and
he just changed it up.
Yeah.
4, Long Island serial killer phone call. He was getting a thrill off of seeing the damage and the impact on these people. 5, Long Island serial killer update. 6, Long Island serial killer update 2022. 7, FBI active serial killers. 8, serial killers by state 2023. 9, map of all known serial killers. 10, unsolved serial killer cases. 11, America's 5 most notorious old cases. He wanted to be on the top. He wanted to be on that fucking list. These searches don't, part of him probably was like, I want to know what's going on, right? But it had been over a decade prior. So it's not like you wanted it in real time, like, ooh, what do they have? Any new information? Versus you got a thrill from seeing that you got away with it.
Yeah, this wasn't being scared to get caught or anything like that. This was a thrill.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, he's being suspected, Bella, in Atlantic City, Vegas, and there was another state, but I apologize, I don't remember off the top of my head. So there were 4 women, same MOs, the mid-20s sex workers who were found in Atlantic City outside of a motel or hotel. Yes, I do, Katie. I drove out to Rex's home on Monday. I'm very, very close, and it's terrifying. Spoke to one of the neighbors when I was there, and she's like, they have no idea who he was, I have family friends who live 5 houses down from him. Thank you. It's property in South Carolina and Nevada. Thank you. So 8. Yeah, that is true. He said active. So number 7, FBI active serial killers. He wanted to see his name at the top of that list.
Yeah.
8, serial killers by state 2023. 9, map of all known serial killers. 10, unsolved serial killer cases. 11, America's 5 most notorious old cases. 12, 11 currently active serial killers. 13, 8 terrifying active serial killers, in parentheses, we can't find. Suthi says, reading it is hard, but it brings it into the light. Worst thing that could be done is keeping it in the dark because it's uncomfortable and ugly and sickening because there's kids living it. Absolutely. And I try to say that, like, a lot of people, especially when it involves like kids, want to pretend it's not happening, like these underground rings and things like that, separate from serial killers. Anything regarding, they'd rather turn the blind eye. And I get that it's uncomfortable, and I get that it's terrifying, and I get that it's disgusting, but you can't look away because then it's happening. It's happening right underneath our noses, and you need to see it to feel the impact and to become outraged so that we could I'm not saying that we could all just stop it all together, but closing your eyes and pretending it's not there isn't going to solve anything.
I completely agree.
13, 8 terrifying active serial killers we can't find. Notice, Nerdy's had the bird flying over the property. Oh, several. Yeah. Notice he said terrifying, right? he got off knowing that people, you know, like, oh. Number 14, John Bittroff. 15, Megan Waterman. 16, Melissa Barthélemy. 17, Maureen Brainard Barnes. He was Googling his victims all the way up to last month. 18, redacted name of Melissa's relative, Barthélemy. 19, redacted name of relative of Megan, Waterman. Yeah, that's how it felt when I was just reading that. I was like, oh God, like I wish I read it before at least, so I would have been prepared and maybe could have worded it slightly different, but you guys would have understood what I was saying. But I was an idiot and didn't read it beforehand. Hey, Missy L. Oh my God. Wow. Yes, it was in 2000. Wait. The other bodies were in 2007, I think, Missy. So
he was looking up the victims' families.
Yeah.
To be able, this is just twisted in so many ways.
Over a decade later.
And he wanted to see his name in those articles and those searches.
Yep. He was looking up victims' kids. Yep, he's going to burn in hell, Katie. So 20, cops launch Gilgo Beach homicide investigation task force. 21, mapping the Long Island murder victims. 22, inside the Long Island serial killer and Gilgo Beach. 23, the Gilgo Beach killer, Criminal Minds. 24, in Long Island serial killer investigation, new phone technology may be a key to break in case. That's interesting that he was Googling that, right? In Long Island serial killer investigation, new phone technology may be key to break in case. That's very interesting. Well, thank you, Sleuthie. Yes, British Tippy, correct. This is just actually a bail application. There's much more. This is just what we have, but this is a very in-depth bail application. So it says, and thank you all so much for being here with me. You guys are amazing. And I'm sorry of the sensitive nature of the topic. It seems like that, Amber, right? So it says the thought.
I was totally just talking on mute the whole time.
Say that. Oh, you were talking on mute. I'm sorry. Was I talking right over you? How rude.
No, because I always have a delay anyway. So I'm like used to it. And it kind of worked out, but then it was weird. And then, sorry, go on.
Okay. The Thawk email account was also used to search for a number of podcasts and or documentaries regarding this investigation, as well as repeatedly viewing hundreds of images depicting the murdered victims and members of their immediate family. So not only was Googling hundreds of photos of these victims, their families. Okay, V-Slims. Yeah, under review. No, his wife filed for divorce, Amber, on Wednesday. And every time, at least we're in regards to the victims we're referring to, the Gilgo Beach 4, every time these victims disappeared and were murdered, his wife was not in New York. I bet they had alerts set up with a certain IP address box inside the city that would notify them with keywords. Oh, yes, yes. Okay. But it was interesting. What's interesting, guys, is 2 of his wife's hairs were found on one of the victims. Now, that doesn't mean she was there. That doesn't mean he planted it there. Hair travels. Like, we lose hairs all the time. But it was interesting.
Especially if they were killed in the home.
Yes, exactly.
any girl with long hair knows there is hair everywhere.
Everywhere. So I'm definitely more likely, even though I thought they were killed in his home, but definitely more likely that the hairs would have got on the victims being in the home at the time of the killing, and then using tape and the burlap sacks. Yeah.
And even if not inside, if they were killed somewhere else, there could be a hair or two on him from her.
Absolutely. Okay, so the L.I.S.K email account was also used to search for a number of podcasts and or documentaries regarding this investigation. So he was Googling like YouTube videos, podcasts, anything talking about the Gilgo Beach murders, because again, he got his thrill in hearing people. I'm sure he wanted to hear what are people's theories, what are people thought, and he loved that he knew. As well as repeatedly viewing hundreds of images depicting the murdered victims and members of their immediate families. Significantly, Rex also searched for and viewed articles concerning the very task force that was investigating him. That is interesting. So on March 28th, 2022, 9:19 a.m. to 9:25 a.m., he searched Long Island serial killer 4 times. 9:20 a.m., he pulled up this article. This case is solvable. New task force aims to solve Long Island serial killer case. And at 9:24 a.m., the Long Island Press, cop launch Gilgo Beach homicide investigation task force. Okay. You're sorry. I just saw a picture, like, and you're a piece of disgusting. A search warrant conducted on the fictitious Springfield Man 9 AOL account further revealed selfie photographs that appeared to have been taken by defendant Rex Heuermann of himself and sent to other persons to solicit and arrange for sexual activity, further linking Rex to the fictitious email account and the burner cell phone 347-304-2771 used to establish the account. So he got cocky. He went so long without being caught that with these burner accounts and phones, he was taking selfies. What's the point of having a burner phone and a fictitious name if you're going to take a damn selfie with the phone in your hand, clearly visible in that mirror shot? Like, what? No, I never had that phone. That's not me. But hold on, let me take a photo of the phone in my hand. He was cocky, though. And he does look like an ogre.
He does.
That was very accurate. A very accurate description. Very emotional, man. It really is.
I was just sitting here thinking, I'm like, there hasn't been a case that really, I don't know, I don't even have the words for it, like this twisted.
Well, and he was so close to me.
Yeah.
And to know he was Googling those things about children, it kind of like, it's terrified me right now, because to how close that predator is, and our children, like, it's just terrifying. It shook me when I read that. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, because I could have crossed paths with this guy so many times. And to know that's what you were searching, like, what did you do to those children? Where are they? How many children are out there that are victims of him? Again, not to minimize any adult victims, but kids hit differently, like.
They do. I don't know, because I mean, I don't have kids, and I couldn't imagine raising a kid in times like this.
It's
Like, I'm
shaking me.
terrified for my niece and nephew.
I am. So it says defendant Rex was I'm sorry, I read that already. Oh, no. Defendant Rex was further linked to the burner cell phone ending in 2671 because on May 19th, 2023, you guys, 2 months ago, defendant Rex was observed by law enforcement via video and field surveillance at a cell phone store in Midtown Manhattan and purchased additional minutes which were added to this burner cell phone. So this is him, guys, probably on his lunch break at work because he's in Midtown Manhattan. Every day, just thinking about all of his coworkers, just every day, right? Just walking in, buying more minutes, adding it, but to do the most evil, sadistic things you could imagine. It's just, again, you would never think twice about it. Jesus.
And the way he had all these different phones, all these different emails, the personas, and he kept it all straight, and still, I can't fathom it.
No. All right. So it says analysis of the Springfield Man 9 AOL account also led to the discovery of another email account, Hunter1903A3 at gmail.com. Hereinafter, the Hunter903A3 Google account, used on February 14th, 2021, to send an image of a prostitute from upstate New York between two of Rex's secret email accounts. So just the fact that the email is Hunter, like you're hunting.
Yeah, like a predator hunting.
And he's sending an image of a prostitute between his burner phones, from one burner to another. Further investigation revealed that the name Hunter1903A3 Google account was created on February 14th, 2021, using burner cell phone 347-885-1697 as the user's phone number and SMS recovery number, and subscribed in the fictitious name Andy Roberts, the same fake name linked to the target Tinder profile, and burner cell phone 347-885-1697, as well as the same alias utilized by Rex in communications with numerous potential sex partners responding to his advertisements for sex, and the fictitious birthday of August 6, 1972, which corresponds to the digital ending of the burner account Thawk 080672 at gmail.com. Well, I need water. Okay. In addition, Google provided IP address information for the user's acceptance of the terms of service, which revealed that the terms of service were accepted on February 14, 2021 from IP address 24.184.75.31. Significantly, records were obtained from Atlas, doing business as Optimum, which is an internet services provider, indicating that the IP address at defendant Huerman's home address was also 24.184.75.31. No, it's not, Trent, and please do not do this crap in here. Moreover, I'm sorry, let me have you guys follow. Moreover, based upon SCPD records for the official website gilgonews.com, a website maintained by the SCPD to disperse news pertaining to this investigation. Hi, Michelle. Rex's home IP address was used on May 23rd, 2020 and July 3rd, 2020 to access the official news concerning this investigation. Records obtained from JetBlue also show that the same IP address was also utilized to book flights for defendant Huerman and his wife in 2018. When analyzing the usage of all devices, I bit my tongue. I told you my tongue dances when I read too much.
Are you okay?
I really did a chomp right there. Did you hear it? Someone must have heard it. Because I really
That's going to get clipped.
Yeah. That
Wolfie,
really
get on that, please.
Now I have like a meat tongue. Like, oh.
Oh, no.
All right. When analyzing the usage of all devices and accounts by Rex, there appears to be a clear pattern where Rex used burner phones and burner junk email address to 1. Contact sex workers and sex partners, to conduct extensive search related to sex and prostitution, violent, sadistic, and child pornography, and 3. Seek online information about the authorities investigating his crimes. These burner cell phones and email accounts with fictitious identities were used in an effort to conceal Rex's true identity, conceal his criminal activity, unlawfully proposition sex workers, and attempt to monitor the investigation of his crimes. DNA analysis of hairs recovered from the examination of the victims' bodies. During the course of this investigation, each of the 4 victims' bodies were examined by a forensic scientist with the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory, which revealed as follows. Again, trigger warning for anybody, please just be mindful. Miss Barnes had been left restrained by 3 leather belts, one of which was utilized to tie Barnes's feet, ankle, and legs together. During the examination of the belts, a female human hair was recovered from the buckle of one of the belts by the Suffolk County Crime Lab. Hereinafter, female hair on Barnes. On or about December 18, 2010, the Suffolk County Laboratory this hair and was able to determine that it corresponded to a Caucasian head hair fragment. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you, Wolfie.
Although this hair was not suitable for nuclear DNA profiling at this time, it was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. Megan Waterman. Megan had been bound by clear or white duct tape. During the course of the examination of Miss Waterman's body, 2 female human hairs were recovered, one from outside the head area and the other from the tape of the head area. Both hairs were recovered in the vicinity of Miss Waterman's head. Hereinafter, 2 female hairs on Waterman. Examination by the Suffolk County Laboratory indicated that the 2 female hairs on Waterman exhibited Caucasian European characteristics, but were unsuitable for further DNA testing at that time. The 2 female hairs on Waterman were subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. Amber Costello. An examination of the body of Miss Costello revealed that she appeared to have been bound by 3 pieces of clear or white duct tape. During the course of the examination of Miss Costello's body, a female human hair was recovered, specifically on a piece of tape, inside of the burlap wrapping in the vicinity of Miss Costello's head. Hereinafter, female hair on Costello. A subsequent examination of the female hair on Costello led to the determination that it had Caucasian and European characteristics. However, it was unsuitable for further DNA testing at the time by the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory. The female hair on Costello was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. As noted above, the female hair on Barnes, 2 female hairs on Waterman, and female hair on Costello. Collectively, the female hairs recovered on the 3 victims were all sent to an outside forensics laboratory, hereinafter Forensic Laboratory Number 1. Forensic Laboratory Number 1 applies DNA techniques and direct genome sequencing in difficult-to-solve forensic casework and the identification of human remains. In or about July 2022, Forensic Laboratory 1 was able to determine that each of the aforementioned female hairs recovered on the 3 victims each belonged to a female individual in mitochondrial haplogroup K1C2, and that this female was not any of the victims. On or about July 21st, 2022, an undercover SCPD detective recovered 11 bottles from a trash receptacle that had been left out for collection in front of the residence of Rex's home. The Suffolk County Crime Laboratory took swabs of said bottles, which were subsequently sent to Forensic Laboratory Number 1 for DNA profiling. Hey, just me. Oh no! I exit. Sorry.
Hey, just me.
We're almost through it, guys. There's not much left.
Yeah, you asked me to come up and I didn't know it was going to be this bad.
Sorry, I didn't know it was either. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay.
But this is tough. I mean,
yeah. Okay. Based on these new submissions, on or about February 24th, 2023, Forensic Laboratory Number 1 was able to conclude that one of the DNA profiles generated from the aforementioned bottles taken from Rex's residence indicated a female individual belonging to the mitochondrial haplogroup K1C2, which is the same mitochondrial haplogroup as the female hairs recovered from the 3 victims. This profile was then compared, so it was his wife that really connected it. This profile was then compared against the previously tested female hair sample recovered on the remains of Megan, which indicated that the 2 belonged to the same individual or someone closely related. Based upon the investigation and evidence recovered to date, that female is believed to be the wife of Rex. Forensic Laboratory Number 2. On or about March 23rd, 2023, Suffolk County Crime Laboratory requested Forensic Laboratory Number 2, a lab specializing in forensic mitochondrial analysis, to conduct additional independent analysis. On or about June 12th, Forensic Laboratory Number 2 issued a report concluding that the DNA sample from the female recovered from the bottles outside the residence of Rex's house and the female hair on Costello indicated that the mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same at all compared positions common to and between samples, specifically at a rate that would be, as per the EMPOP database, exclude 99.98% of the North American population from the female hair on Costello. Similar things that we see, with the Kohberger. Forensic Laboratory Number 2 then compared the profile associated from the DNA sample from Heuermann's wife to one of the aforementioned female's hair recovered on the remains of Miss Waterman, which also resulted in the conclusion that the mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same at all compared positions common to and between samples, specifically at a rate that would, as per the EMPOP database, exclude 99.69% of the North American population from the hair recovered on Miss Waterman. Based on the foregoing, while 99.98% of the North American population can be excluded from the female hair on Costello, and 99.69% of the North American population are excluded from the female hair on Waterman, It is significant that Rex's wife cannot be excluded from either the female hairs recovered on the remains of Megan and Amber. As previously noted, Rex's wife was out of state at the time of Miss Waterman and Miss Costello's disappearance and murders. As such, it is likely that the burlap, tape, vehicles, or other instrumentalities utilized in furtherance of these murders came from Rex's residence, where his wife also resides or was transferred from his clothing. So the male hair linked to Rex. During the initial examination of Miss Waterman's skeletal remains and the burlap materials, Suffolk County Crime Laboratory was also able to recover a male hair from the bottom of the burlap used to wrap Miss Waterman by her killer, hereinafter male hair on Waterman. An initial examination of said hair revealed Caucasian and European characteristics. However, the hair was unsuitable for further DNA analysis at that time by Suffolk County Crime Laboratory. This hair was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis, and on or about July 31st, 2020, Forensic Laboratory Number 1 was able to generate a DNA profile for the hair recovered on the bottom of the Waterman burlap. Specifically, Forensic Laboratory Number 1 determined that this hair belonged to a male in mitochondrial haplogroup V7A. Following the discovery of the Chevy Avalanche, which was registered to the defendant Heuermann, and the investigation of cellular billing records and other items on or about January 26, 2023, a surveillance team observed and recovered a pizza box thrown by Rex into a garbage can located in front of 385 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. So this is the pizza box in the garbage can, guys. Look at that. This pizza. What? Sorry, go ahead.
They got it. I mean,
yep. Never would have thought anything of it, right? Just tossing your pizza out.
Yeah.
You should have ate your crusts. This pizza box was sent to Suffolk County Crime Laboratory for analysis, where a swab was taken from the leftover pizza crust. On or about March 23rd, 2023, Suffolk County Crime Laboratory sent the swab from the pizza crust abandoned by Rex to Forensic Laboratory Number 2. On or about April 28th, 2023, a detective hand-delivered from Forensic Laboratory 1 a portion of male hair on Waterman to Forensic Laboratory Number 2 for testing. On or about June 12th, 2023, Forensic Laboratory Number 2 was able to determine as to the male hair on Waterman and the swab from the pizza crust that the mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same, specifically at a rate that would, as per the EMPOP database, exclude 99.96% of the North American population from the male hair on Waterman. Based on the foregoing, while 99.96% of the North American population can be excluded from the male hair on Waterman, it is significant that the defendant Heuermann cannot be excluded from the male hair recovered near the bottom of the burlap, utilized to restrain and transport Megan Waterman's naked and deceased body. Arrest and search of Rex, his residence, and other locations. On or about the evening of July 13th, 2023, Rex was arrested by Suffolk County police officers. Searches of his residence as well as other locations are currently ongoing. At the time of his arrest, Rex had on his person the burner cell phone 347-304-2671, which was linked to the L.I.S.K email account used to conduct the online searches described above. Oh my God, that is amazing. He had it on him. Penalties. If convicted on the current charges, defendant Rex faces multiple sentences of life without parole. Remand without bail is appropriate. Based on the serious, heinous nature of these offenses, the strength of the people's case, the life incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extreme measures this defendant took to attempt to avoid apprehension for an extended period of time, the recent sadistic and child P searches, use of fictitious names, email and cell phone burner accounts, online counter surveillance, and his access to and history of possessing firearms, the people believe that the only means to ensure the defendant's return to court is to remand the defendant without bail. Dated July 14, 2023, Suffolk County, New York, Raymond A. Tierney, District Attorney. And there we go.
No bail.
No. Bail is denied. But wow. Wow. That was deep. That was tough. This is a sick, twisted individual. And I just pray that they find his victims. I pray, because there is no way he was doing all this all the way up until a week before he was arrested. Those searches, I'm sorry, that's going to really bother me. I wasn't prepared for that. And that's going to I feel like I'm not going to be able to sleep because of how close this was, way too close for comfort. And it was, I just don't understand. I could never understand something like that. And
Melissa, you did a great job. All this, and I know how much it's affected you and how close, and you going out there to the scene, and you've done amazing.
I appreciate that. It's just the kid stuff. The kid stuff hits hard, because knowing that, as a mother with a child in that age range, and knowing how close, it's terrifying. Those searches were terrifying. That the thought that there are children victims out there who have not been found is terrifying. And it's heartbreaking.
I hope these families can get some closure and some justice.
Thanks, Michelle, and thanks, Corey. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, guys. No, that I really do appreciate it. And sorry, I should have read it before I went live. I didn't read the full thing before I went live, and so yeah, it was hard to read that out loud. It's totally different when you have to say it out loud, and just even saying those searches felt really wrong and icky, and it's just scary. Oh, thank you, Blueberry. Blueberry says, "Thank you so much for reading this for us. We greatly appreciate you. Big hugs from us all." That was really, really kind of you. Thank you so much, Blueberry. That was very generous. But yeah, that was just, I don't know. I think I just feel very uncomfortable with those searches, and having read them out loud, it felt really wrong. And it's different when you read it. I don't know. It's different when you read it and then being up here and then saying it out loud in front of an audience of people. And it was oh, wow, this is wrong. This is, and every time I read one of the searches of a different child of a different age, in my head, I'm imagining a victim, a child out there, he was a predator and he saw it, and it's terrifying. That's the only word I can use: terrifying and disgusting. And I just can't believe, and they're everywhere. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. But this one hit close to me because it's so close, but they're everywhere. There are people walking among us, monsters walking among us every day. They are your doctors, your lawyers, your teachers. They don't necessarily have to look like the monster. They look like you or I would. And please be careful. Please be safe. And just always be aware of your surroundings. If that's, the one thing that I've definitely learned following true crime is be aware of your surrounding. Always keep your eyes out. Always be on guard. Take that extra step. And it's as common as clouds. Exactly, Vix. Thank you for being up here, though, with me, Amanda. I didn't expect it to be that deep, but even you being here, is very nice.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could be here, and you've done a really great job.
Thank you, Matefoot. And I'll keep you guys posted. B Crumbs, hey.
Oh my god, you're gonna make me scream. There's a cicada, whatever they're called.
Not a cicada. No. I hate cicadas.
I'm gonna die.
Me too. I was really happy Meatfoot's up here with me. So even just, sorry you didn't get to really talk much, but even you being here, I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad I could be here.
Yeah. And you guys, I'm going to continue to cover this case. So as more comes out, I will go live with it and I'll bring it all to you guys. And what's it called? But Mallory over at Malicious Intent is live right now. It's her first live introduction to her channel. So I want everyone to go do a Jade raid over there, show her some support. But also Sunday on ATS News, we are going she's going to be covering the L.I.S.K serial killer as well and the Gilgo Beach murders. So make sure to go over there, subscribe. I don't know what time she's going live yet on Sunday, but we'll be over there and we're going to show her some support. And I very much look forward to hearing her thoughts on everything. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Meat, for it. And I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern is the interview with Vanessa. Well, not interview, but discussion with Vanessa from Unmasked regarding all things Idaho 4. So I will see you guys all tomorrow evening. So have a great night.
Bye, guys.